The global trade landscape just shifted dramatically. On October 15, 2025, China announced a steep 75% tariff on US-made electric vehicles. This is a direct response to escalating tariffs from the US, including a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. The move targets a critical sector, green technology, and the future of American car manufacturing. For years, the US and China have been locked in a tit-for-tat trade war, each side raising barriers. China already dominates the EV market and battery technology, and this tariff is designed to keep it that way. For US automakers, selling EVs in China just became nearly impossible. The timing is crucial, as the global auto industry is investing billions in electric vehicles. This tariff is more than a number. It's a major obstacle for American business and a turning point in the global EV race. The impact will ripple through supply chains, boardrooms, and ultimately, to consumers. Workers, companies, and buyers will all feel the effects. The US-China trade relationship is only getting tougher. The road ahead for American EVs in China is now steeper than ever. The shockwaves from this decision could reshape the automotive world for years. So, what exactly is a tariff? Simply put, it's a tax on imported goods. When a US electric car lands in China, a 75% tax is now added, making it much pricier for Chinese buyers. The main goal: make foreign products less attractive and protect local industries. Tariffs are often used as economic weapons in trade disputes, like the current US-China standoff. They can spark trade wars, with each side retaliating and raising costs for everyone. While tariffs can help local factories, they often mean higher prices for consumers and headaches for businesses relying on global supply chains. In today's interconnected world, tariffs rarely have simple effects. They can disrupt industries, raise prices, and create winners and losers on both sides. Protectionism sounds good in theory, but the reality is complicated. Tariffs are a double-edged sword, hurting some, helping others. In the US-China EV battle, they're a key weapon with far-reaching consequences. The impact is rarely as straightforward as politicians claim. For American car companies, China's 75% tariff is a game-changer. China is the world's largest car market, a huge opportunity now slipping away. Tesla, Ford, and GM have invested heavily in China, but this tariff makes US-made EVs unaffordable for most buyers. A $60,000 car now costs over $100,000 after the tariff, pricing out all but the wealthiest. Competing with Chinese brands like BYD or Xiaomi just got much harder. US automakers face a tough choice: absorb the cost and lose money, or raise prices and lose sales. Many plan to export from US factories, but that strategy is now dead for EVs. The only way in may be to build cars inside China, which is costly and risky. The message to American businesses: the rules can change overnight. Uncertainty is rising, making long-term planning difficult. The dream of dominating China's EV market is fading fast. US car makers are now on the defensive in a market they hope to conquer. The fallout from China's tariff will hit American workers and factories hard. States like Michigan and Ohio, home to EV plants, could see production cuts as demand from China dries up. Fewer exports mean less work, leading to layoffs or hiring freezes. The pain spreads down the supply chain. Battery makers, parts suppliers, and small businesses all feel the squeeze. US automakers are caught in a bind, encouraged to build at home, but losing a major export market. The business case for expanding US production weakens if global sales shrink. The tariff is a barrier to growth, threatening jobs in an industry meant to power the green economy. Investment in US auto plants could slow as companies face more risk and uncertainty. The promise of stable, well-paying jobs in EV manufacturing is now in jeopardy. The trade war is making it harder for American workers to benefit from the EV revolution. The green economy's future is suddenly less certain. For many, the impact will be felt not just in boardrooms, but on factory floors. The road to a thriving US EV industry just got a lot rougher. China's tariff doesn't just hurt US exports, it could make EVs pricier at home too. The reason: China controls key materials for EV batteries, like rare earths and graphite. In retaliation, China is restricting exports of these materials, driving up global prices. US manufacturers now face higher costs for essential components. Those costs get passed on to American buyers, making EVs less affordable. The US has also ended federal tax credits for EVs, compounding the problem. As prices rise, fewer people can afford to switch from gas to electric. Companies may scramble for alternative suppliers, but those are expensive and slow to develop. The uncertainty alone can drive prices higher, as firms stockpile materials. The dream of a cheap American-made EV is slipping further away. Trade tensions are making the EV transition harder for everyone. The global supply chain is more fragile than ever. The trade war is hitting real companies on both sides of the Pacific. Tesla, for example, exports high-end models from the US to China, now hit by the 75% tariff. Ford's electric Mustang Mach-E faces the same fate, making it uncompetitive in China. US automakers are losing access to the world's biggest EV market, threatening their global ambitions. On the flip side, Chinese brands like BYD are blocked from the US by a 100% tariff. Chinese EV makers are now focusing on Europe, Southeast Asia, and South America. Both sides are being forced to rethink their strategies and look for new markets. The global auto industry map is being redrawn in real time. No one is winning, everyone is adapting. The trade war is accelerating a shift away from global integration. Companies everywhere are caught in the crossfire, forced to change or fall behind. China's real power isn't just tariffs, it's control over essential raw materials. Starting November 2025, China will restrict exports of rare earths and other key EV materials. China processes nearly 90% of the world's rare earths, giving it huge leverage. Building new mines elsewhere takes years and costs billions. By limiting exports, China can instantly disrupt US and European supply chains. Without these materials, making EVs at scale becomes much harder and more expensive. This exposes a major vulnerability in Western manufacturing dependence on a strategic rival. Tariffs can be negotiated, but rebuilding supply chains is a generational challenge. China's move forces the US and allies to rethink their entire approach to critical minerals. For now, China holds the cards in the EV materials game. What does all this mean for car buyers and the world? Affordable EVs in the US are now further out of reach, with prices likely to stay high. The trade war is creating a perfect storm: tariffs, material shortages, and fewer government incentives. The US and China are moving toward economic decoupling, especially in tech and green energy. This shift is messy, costly, and creates uncertainty for businesses and consumers alike. Other countries, like Canada and those in Europe, are caught in the middle, forced to pick sides. Global supply chains are being scrambled, and a new, fragmented world order is emerging. The race for EV dominance is about more than cars. It's about who leads the next wave of innovation. The outcome will shape prices, choices, and the future of the global economy. Decisions made today in Washington and Beijing will echo for decades. For consumers, the impact will be felt in their wallets and on the road. The EV revolution's future is being decided right now, far beyond the showroom floor.